give a warm welcome to the hosts of The Bride of Alternate Ending.
Hello, ghouls and goblins, and welcome back to Bride of Alternate Ending. I was going to do a fun, cool introduction with a great, great voice like I always do, but unfortunately your insurance did not approve it in time, so we're going to have to push that to next month. We're going to reschedule. Yes,
Brennan.
I am your ghost, Brennan Klein. With me, as always, is your giggling co-ghost, Tim Brayton. How are you doing?
I'm doing so good. How are you doing, Brennan? Sorry, we probably should have told you that was coming so you didn't break in the middle of it. But
no, it was very amusing. So at first I was like, wow, I made such a good joke, and Tim loved it. And then I was like, wait, no, we're talking about Dr. Giggles today, and Tim
I was giggling.
Yeah, he has caught the giggle.
I was trying specifically to do a Dr. Giggles style giggle.
I think you got closer than I could have. I considered doing that as the intro, and I was like, I simply don't have whatever diaphragmatic control I need to make that happen.
That is fair.
Or I guess I don't have the falsetto for it.
I mean, Lord knows I don't have a falsetto, but I thought it was worth constricting my vocal cords as tight as they can constrict for the purpose of a 10-second gag.
Yes, no,
here we are.
I think it's true. But yes, we are closing out our period of talking about 1990s slashers that came out before Scream changed the game. We are here to discuss 1992's Dr. Giggles, directed by Manny Coto, which is not it was a name that I looked at and was like, should I know this name? And the answer is not really. He's a TV guy.
Yeah, he's a TV guy, and I do know his TV work. I mean, I actually don't specifically know his TV work. He was the showrunner for this fourth season of Star Trek Enterprise.
Oh.
Which in my head is a big thing for him to have been.
I think so, sure. And he's done 24, he's done Dexter, like he's done TV you've heard of.
Yeah, for sure. He's a decent sized TV guy is what I need to say. Although not as a director, as a writer.
Oh yeah, no, I think he had directed a feature before Dr. Giggles, right? But like that's basically nothing after is what I recall.
I think that is correct. Let me search that while you are continuing to chat.
Yes. So Dr. Giggles, it's one that we discussed maybe not doing because we had done The Dentist, and those two really feel of a piece. And I think they're more of a piece than I thought in that they're not really delivering what you assume a movie about a killer doctor or dentist is going to deliver in the early 1990s, or at least it delivers stuff on top of that. Yeah, I think we should get into the plot. But do you have the?
I will say this is actually his third feature.
Oh,
he also directed Playroom in 1990 and Cover Up in 1991, and he did in 1991 as well direct an episode of Tales from the Crypt, which also feels like that's a credit to a director to have, and I think specifically the director of this film.
Yeah, he's kind of
from having directed Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah, he's a bit of a pedigreed television person. Yeah. But yeah, Dr. Giggles, I think I will take a stab at the plot, but let me know if I miss anything. Basically, there's a whole kind of introduction at a sanatorium that a man who styles himself as a doctor has escaped from.
And I will say I was immediately on the movie's side because the introductory scene worked on me in a way I think it was hoping to work on a viewer, which is that we see surgery being performed, and it's just like, aha, well, I know this is a movie about a doctor. The doctor is performing surgery before he goes insane. And then at one point it cuts to show the person he's doing surgery on is wearing a suit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's weird. I noticed the suit and I felt confused by the suit. And that's exactly what the movie wanted me to feel. Like I was being played by this chintzy ass slasher movie, and good for it.
Yeah. I will say, like, I mean, this is probably something I'll talk about in more detail later. Like, I'm not sure that having the killer just like desire to be a doctor rather than being a mad doctor makes a lot of sense.
I don't think it does.
Yeah, it's a peculiar choice for a movie like this, but it certainly plays that opening scene quite well. And it comes after some dastardly CGI blood in the opening credits. But I do like the way that the scene plays into the opening credits directly.
I like that, and I will push back slightly. It is bad CGI. There's no question it's bad CGI. it was 1992, and
Yeah.
even bad CGI speaks to the desire to have this be like a real movie with a budget.
Okay. You know what? Okay,
This
I
is
will
pre
accept that.
Jurassic Park.
Yes, it is. Okay, you're right. I will allow for this. And
So
it's
so I'm
certainly
not going to defend the CGI. I'm going to defend the choice to make to use CGI as being in and of itself. This is not a cheap movie. This is a $7 million movie.
yeah, no, it's just it's got stuff going for it. Anyway, yeah.
It
So
does. Anyways, but yes,
we have one Larry Drake as what is his name? Pulling it up now.
Dr. Giggles. It's right there in the title.
Well, yes, but Dr. Evan Rendell Jr. He does not have his doctorate. Spoiler alert.
He does not.
Um, but yeah, Larry Drake, I'm most familiar with from the 1981 Canadian TV movie Dark Knight of the Scarecrow.
Oh yes, that is why I mean I know him from other things, but that was something was tickling the back of my neck and that was it.
Yeah, that is his slasher kind of predecessor to Dr. Giggles.
Yes.
He was the person who gets killed who kind of becomes the titular Scarecrow in that movie.
Yes.
But he's the villain in Darkman. He was in L.A. Law for a hot minute.
LA Law would for sure be the big thing.
Okay, yeah, that's not a
And
show I have any familiarity with at all.
and he is also in the possibly the single best episode of Tales from the Crypt. He plays a serial killer dressed as Santa Claus.
Oh, I've not seen that episode, but I have heard about that. Okay.
It's probably my favorite. So again, Tales from the Crypt is all over this movie, and I'll be mentioning it at least one more time. So
And yeah, no, Larry Drake, another guy like maybe better known for TV, but also like definitely a character actor you've seen kicking around.
for sure, good face Larry Drake has.
Yeah. Um, and yeah, anyway, so he escapes a sanatorium. His whole backstory is kind of doled out in dribs and drabs, but it's pretty easy to get from the get
Yeah.
go. But his dad was a doctor who went mad because his mom had a heart condition and he was stealing hearts from his patients, and his mom ended up dying. His dad got like so basically it's kind of a Freddy Krueger
It is kind of a
backstory.
Freddy Krueger, and we are told fairly early, because a bunch of teenagers go to the old, what's the doctor's surname?
I just said
You
Rendell,
just said
Dr. Rendell.
Rendell, yes. They'll go to the old Rendell place, and there's even like a skipping rhyme about how Dr. Rendell's going to kill you if you do whatever. So it's very Freddy Krueger-esque, but we do learn pretty quickly that Rendell Sr. uh, did go crazy and kill people and is now kind of an urban legend in the town of Moor High.
Yes. And so there's these two kind of things that dovetail, which is that Doctor the Larry Drake Evan Rendell, who styles himself as Dr. Rendell slash Dr. Giggles. I guess I will just call him Dr. Giggles. It's too complicated. So Dr. Giggles always wanted to be a doctor. He's taking after his dad and both being a doctor and being a murderer doctor. um, and basically his dad got Freddy Krueger. Like the parents around town, or I guess the adults around town, kind of took out mob justice upon him. And when he was found, his son, I guess, who I don't know why they wanted to target the son or whatever, but the son was like never found. The son
I mean,
vanished.
I think the movie is fudging that a little bit because yes, we know that the reason you would want to stop him is because he grows up to become a murderous doctor. But I think we can at least pretend it's just that they wanted to make sure the child was safe.
Okay, I guess it's possible. I never took it that way, but I guess it's
I
possible to
didn't
read it
I
that
didn't
way.
either, but I mean it gets us to a real kick-ass image later in the movie, so I'm willing to
Ooh.
spot the movie
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
a bit of fudging its backstory.
Yeah, but yeah. So basically, the kid was never found, and then also this doctor lunatic who has been institutionalized. They're like, we don't know who he is, and it's like, oh, I think I know. He might just be Doctor Giggles. Anyway, he escapes. He escapes to his town of Moorhigh. He wants revenge, just kind of on the town in general because of the death of his father. And he styles himself as a doctor and goes around killing people with doctor implements and making doctor puns. Although he never takes on an office, which I kind of expected. Um,
Well,
yeah,
his father's home sort of has a built-in office.
It does. But it's not
He
like,
doesn't he
oh,
doesn't set up a practice. He does not put out a shingle.
yeah, I was expecting him to do that and start killing his patients kind of in a the dentist kind of way.
That is what I assumed as well, yes.
But yeah, instead he's just kind of wandering around town and he intersects with the story of one Jennifer Kemble, played by Holly Marie Combs, who I did not recognize, but she's one of the leads from Charmed, so a lot of people
Okay.
would. Um,
I would not be one of those people.
yeah, no, me neither. Um, but yeah, so she has a heart condition and she's kind of hiding it from her shitty friends and her shitty boyfriend. Um, who I would say that these are Kevin Williamson ripoffs, except such a thing could not exist yet. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm very confused about there was that like kind of convergent evolution
Yeah, just
of.
just 90s teenager shittiness, I think is what we're seeing kind of afloat in the world.
Yeah, but she has these two friends who I think in the script were called Evil Slut 1 and Evil Slut 2. Um who are like, "Ooh, we're horny and we're quippy." And they go to flirt with these twin like jocks who are really tall. And they call them the Twin Peaks.
I liked that line a lot.
Yeah, that's a good line and it feels very Kevin Williamson.
It does feel very Kevin Williamson.
Maybe he watched Dr. Giggles and was like, "You know what I can do? Write a screenplay." um but yeah, so she has a bunch of friends. The friends mostly don't matter except the boyfriend who is named Max. Um, he's kind of like he likes her, but he's also like a teen boy and is
Mhm.
kind of annoying and afraid of commitment and wants to have sex when she doesn't because it might kill her, might make her heart explode because she has some sort of aortal prolapse that she might
Mhm.
need to have surgery on.
Yes.
Um, but anyway, so guess what? Her having a heart condition makes Dr. Giggles kind of fixate upon her because his mother had a heart condition, and killers have things about their mothers. In
Hmm.
case you hadn't heard.
And also Jennifer's mother also died of a heart condition.
Oh yes,
So
there's a
so there's like that extra level of parallel between her and the killer.
yeah. Everyone had yeah. There's a lot of unusually intricate
Morhai has
backstory.
a statistically unlikely number of aortic embolisms.
Yes. But yeah, that's kind of it. They kind of he's killing people. He's kind of targeting her. Eventually, she realizes that both of these things are happening, and tries to escape him. There's other people around the town. There's a cop. There's two cops that are going to be important. There's also her
There's
dad.
there's grizzled old cop and there's young new cop who's learning the backstory from grizzled old cop.
Yes. And her dad, who's played by Cliff DeYoung from Shock Treatment, and I imagine
Mhm.
other things, but I know him from Shock Treatment. He's also the dad in The Craft. So he had a good gig going as dads of 90s teenagers in horror light
Okay.
movies.
Yes.
But yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. We'll get into more spoilery details later, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty clean setup. You got a guy who runs around killing people with Dr. Puns. It doesn't take building the pyramids of Giza to get to that plot point.
And yet there's much more construction and setup than you'd think there would be. Again, it's just like I don't really feel like I needed a lot of it, although a lot of it plays pretty well. Um, I think this movie could have been simpler and still been as good as it is.
I agree with that. I do wonder how much of that was Larry Drake apparently was reluctant to take this role, and they had
Hmm.
to assure him it was going to have more meat on it than just you're a crazy doctor and you kill people.
Okay, that does make sense. But anyway, so neither of us had seen this movie before.
That is correct.
Um, we I think have already tipped our hand that this movie is pretty good, right?
I liked it. I was really not expecting to. I I will say this, the reason I wanted to put this on our poll and the reason why I wanted to pluck it after it did not win the first round of voting, this movie was advertised with two of the most shameless taglines in the history of horror cinema. One of which was "The doctor is out of his mind," and the other is "The doctor is insane." And and you have a certain level of expectation that any film advertised that way, because the thing that I immediately think of is like Uncle Sam wants you, right? Like
Uh-huh. Dang.
it cannot be good. It cannot be good. A good movie would not have that tagline, is was my feeling. So I was expecting something just absolute gutter trash here, uh, and was very, very surprised to not get it. To such a degree that I am concerned I might be overrating the movie because it's like this was actually fun. And I think you and I are in the same position where we both kind of wanted to give it 4 stars, but it just would feel wrong on a moral level to give Dr.
Yes.
Giggles 4 stars.
I agree, because it is still like at its core, it is doing those things that you would have expected a movie with that tagline and like a 1992 slasher movie to do.
Hmm.
Obviously, there are movies that escape that. Candyman is a 1992 slasher movie, and that movie's fucking great.
Hmm.
But a movie called Dr. Giggles, you kind of knew it was going to be one of those post Freddy kind of chatty killers that were wandering around in the early 90s. Your leprechauns,
Hmm.
etc. Uncle Sam, I don't recall if he was chatty, but I think he was.
I don't recall. I haven't seen that movie in so long.
Yeah, and that's fine. Um, but yeah, so it at its core it is that there are a lot of doctor puns. They're mostly pretty dumb. Some of them are kind of cute. I really liked. Since I brought it up, there's one where he's like, "My diagnosis: you have 6 seconds to live." Like that one was pretty good.
That one was good. God help me. It's not even a lot of them aren't even puns. He just says a doctor thing and then kills somebody.
Yeah,
But the one where he's like, I'm going to do what doctors do best, and then it cuts to a golf club. I was like, okay,
that
I,
was good
I see what
too.
you did there.
Yeah, and I also did like he was like I've discovered the only known cure for the common cold, and he just kills her, and that was
That's
pretty good
that was pretty
too.
great. So again,
Honest,
puns feels like a category error, but I don't know what else to call them.
yeah, it's just thematic wordplay
Yeah.
almost, I guess. There are quite bad ones. There are like
Hmm.
those post Freddy ones where he's killing someone via a stomach pump, and he says, "I know it sucks," and it's just like, okay,
That was probably my least favorite. Yes.
yeah. So it does have plenty of those also, but they do feel
The
connected more than Freddy's later puns do.
They do, and I will. I mean, there's nothing like the car scene in Nightmare on Elm Street 5.
I was just gonna bring that up. Or you're talking about the motorcycle
The
scene,
motorcycle
right?
scene, yeah,
Yeah,
right,
where he's just screaming fuel injection,
yeah,
fast lane.
right.
It's one of the most embarrassing scenes in any horror movie where
It
you
truly
cannot be
is.
scared because you're just really it's like watching an early episode of The Office. You're just like, I hate this. I feel so bad for Robert Englund.
Hmm.
This is so uncomfortable for me that he had to do this.
Hmm. And
Um,
this is not that for
no,
sure.
it's not that. Um, and I guess we should just talk about other things that are good about the movie. You mentioned Larry Drake. I'd like to hear your thoughts on him in more detail.
Well, so again, he's like a proper actor, right? I mean, he's
Yeah.
been on a very popular show for about a decade at this point. Um, and what I liked about the way he performs Dr. Giggles, it's very much the like stupid quipster killer. We know how that goes by 1992.
Mm-hmm.
I like that he's not hamming it up weirdly in a way that I think he certainly had more room to go much hammier than he did. He's
Uh huh.
he's hamming it up a little because he's playing a laughing maniac doctor called Dr. Giggles. Like it's not, not doing streetcar named Desire here. But he he's not like laughing. He's laughing at his own jokes, but he's not like being sarcastic or loud or like leaning into the punchline. He's just kind of saying the lines in like a really weird, muted way and then having his little weird titter.
Yeah.
Like it's as underplayed as a role of this nature, I think could be underplayed. Which
Yeah.
again is not all the way underplayed, but like yeah,
It is hammy with intention. It is quality ham. It's like a nice like Easter ham.
it's prosciutto.
Yeah, whereas the fuel injection fast lane scene, that is full on a Lunchables
I was gonna
snack
say
cracker ham.
that's like a gas station ham croissant.
Yeah. Ugh. With just sweaty and gross.
Yes.
Okay. But yeah, no, he's really doing something. And yeah, that giggle is eerie, and he is committing to like I am giggling without it being too silly.
Mhm.
He's really found the right register to put it in.
The giggle reminded me of when a very good actor gets their hands on the Joker from the Batman comics, where it's
Mm,
like he's amusing himself, but I, as a viewer, find it kind of creepy and inhuman.
yeah. Like I'm a little unsure about why he giggles. And I'm not saying I need to know, but I feel like the movie tries to answer that question and fails a little bit.
I think it does try, and I think it does fail. I think the idea is that he was driven insane by the experience of seeing his parents die the way they did,
Mhm.
and now he's just giggling maniacally. Um, I don't think I buy that, but I think that the effect of it is good enough that I don't need to.
Yes, I agree, and I think there are several parts of the movie where that is kind of the mode that the movie functions in most of the time.
Yes, for sure. And I will also point out this actually, I only learned this whilst researching the movie after I watched it, based on a comic book.
What?
This movie, yeah, it's based on a Dark Horse comic book.
Oh, I had no idea. This is an early exemplar of that comic adaptation
It
craze.
it genuinely is. I was actually the first, like Dark Horse had a multi-picture deal with this production company. This was the first film to come out of that. It could easily have been the last one. I don't know Dark Horse that well. But so it is a sort of, 90s grimdark, edgy comic, I'm assuming, just based on
Wow.
the fact that it's Dark Horse. So that might possibly explain the laughing, because I mean, it might just be that he's literally a joke himself.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, so it's living in like where the Crow. Like it's
Yeah,
of the same kind of background as that type of movie. That's
for
crazy.
sure.
I did not realize that. Okay. Um good to know. But also, okay, this movie kind of looks great for the most part.
It kind of looks great. It's well, you go ahead. You brought up the topic, so I'll still.
There's just a lot of really good choices. There are some that are really simple just in terms of like shot design. Um like there's a sequence where the requisite like horny teen couple sneaks upstairs behind the guy's little brother who's playing video games.
Hmm.
And you can kind of see them in a mirror on the wall behind the brother, and that's the only way you can see the staircase and what's happening.
Hmm.
But then it cuts back and you see the doctor going up the stairs, but you don't ever see him entering the door or entering the room. You only see him in the mirror, going up the stairs, and I thought that was really eerie. Um, there's a kind of neat like when you do a flashback to old timey things, you make it black and white. But what they do here is they kind of, because it starts with Dr. Giggles looking at a photo, and then that whole sequence of the flashback kind of has the kind of pebbled texture of an
Yeah,
old photo. And it's not quite black and white. Like it's not quite black and white. It's not quite sepia. It just feels like all the color's been drained away.
it's been a little desaturated, exactly.
Yeah. And there's just so many choices like that. Sorry, I will let you speak soon.
Well, no, I
But
certainly agree with you. One of the things I did want to talk about was that scene with the brother playing the video game,
uh huh,
which I think is a very well crafted sequence. A lot of it is letting the viewer do the work. Like you kind of mentioned, we don't see
uh
him
huh.
enter the door. Like we don't see a lot of what happens in that sequence. We sort of understand from changes that happen between edits. We understand in part because we know we're watching a slasher movie and we can sort of put two and two together. It's a scene that's really built, I think, out of innuendo in a way that I really liked quite a bit. But it does have some very good use of reflections. The TV
Oh,
reflects
uh huh.
movement, and we can't quite make out that it is Dr. Giggle standing over the boy's back. Um, he does not end up killing the boy. He gets one of his stupid quips as his explanation why he doesn't kill the little boy.
Oh yeah, he says that his addiction to video games is terminal.
Terminal, yeah, and then walks away with a very disappointed look on his face. But
Mm-hmm.
just in general, I thought that scene was cleverly done. Like it's letting us do a lot of the work, which I always enjoy when a movie can do. But what I was also going to say, I think this is very good at some of its gimmicky shots are just very well conceived and very well done. And I was
Mm-hmm.
going to say this before, and we talked about that dreadful, dreadful, I know it sucks line. Uh, that's sort of redeemed for me in that the moment that it accompanies, he's pumping a vanilla milkshake out of his victim using a stomach pump. And after he pumps out the milkshake, he starts pumping out blood. And so you get
Yeah.
this close up shot of vanilla ice cream and bright red, stage blood swirling together, and it's quite striking in a way that feels more, I think, high impact than a lot of gore effects do, because it's not just gross, it's kind of beautiful, and the fact that it's beautiful is kind of upsetting.
Yes, I
I
completely
like that
agree.
shot a lot. And then there's just this great gimmick shot where we're looking out of a character's mouth, and it's like this giant mouth prop, and you can sort of
Uh-huh.
see it if you're looking for it. You can tell that Larry Drake is holding like a foot wide tongue depressor, so it can have like foreshortening. But a very fun, very very goofy shot that I really liked a lot.
Yeah, and that's another thing that speaks to like they spent more money on this movie than they needed to.
They sure did.
Um,
They spent more money than they got out of this movie. This movie did not do well.
yeah, which is a bummer. I bet
It
it did
is
pretty well in the video market. Um,
probably.
but yeah, in theaters not so much. But yeah, there's a lot of scenes where the camera's very kind of sinuous and tracking things, and it's very
Hmm.
patient. Like you see Jennifer leaving from one door of the house, and it slowly tracks across the house, and you see Doctor Giggles entering from the back door.
Hmm. Hmm.
And there's also a shot at a carnival of three different people and how they see each other and how their motions interact with each other, and it's all accomplished in the same shot. And that
Hmm.
it's there's just a lot of moments that are there's just actual filmmakers doing stuff in this movie.
That's the thing, and it's easy to, I think, overrate both in the year of our Lord 2025 when no one
Yeah,
cares about blocking, but also just in the context of like 1990s horror where nobody cared about anything. Like a lot of it is just it has basic craft, but it
yeah,
has that craft, and like there's interesting blocking here. Like that tells the story, how people are arranged in the frame,
yeah.
and you can't take that for granted in a 1992 slasher film.
No, you really can't. And again, I think that's maybe why I think we both kind of have kind of hedged our ratings a
Our
bit.
hearts say for our heads say, don't you fucking dare.
Yeah. But also, you're right. Like, there's a lot of things where it's like, oh, that's just what a movie should do. But the idea that someone's paying attention and actually doing it is always a nice thing.
Mhm.
But there's specifically a sequence where Dr. Giggles is hunting Jennifer and two of her friends in a mirror maze at the carnival.
Oh God, the mirror maze scene is so good.
It's incredible. And it's so, I mean, it's such a kind of trope of movies
Hmm.
to a certain point. Like, if you'll see a mirror maze scene once every 5 years. There's one in John Wick. They're like they people love to frame them because they're really cool.
Hmm.
I love to mount a mirror maze scene, but this one in particular, it's very kaleidoscopic. It's very disorienting.
That's what I loved about it. Like in horror movies, mirror mazes are always about disorientation. They're about like creating jump scares where physically they can't be because the mirror's doing that work for you. This
Hmm.
is like doing something else to me, where it really becomes like just kind of visually interesting to look at. Like it is
Yeah,
disorienting, but that's not primarily, you say kaleidoscopic, and I know exactly what shot you're talking about. It's just a very cool, surreal mirror maze scene.
yeah. It's very surreal. It's very kind of eerie and dreamlike. And they do get to do the thing of like everyone thinks they know what they're seeing and they don't. She's backing away from Dr. Giggles into the actual Dr.
Dr.
Giggles.
Giggles, yeah.
It's incredibly accomplished, and it's actually like this is like genuinely a really good scene.
It feels to me like Manny Cotto was trying to prove that he could direct a movie here. Like he's using
Mm,
this as a calling card. And the fact that the movie lost money, I think, is a big part of why he didn't. I mean, it's not his last movie. It's just he didn't make any movies you would know of, really.
yeah.
But I think this is a hungry filmmaker that we're seeing here. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's very cool. I think that pays off in a lot of places with some very well set up shots. Again, it is there is no ROI on having this much effort go into your horror movie mirror maze scene.
No,
It's just there for the love of the game.
and that is why all of this is so admirable, and let alone the fact that it is just a genuinely good scene.
Mhm.
Um, Doctor Giggles is kind of great. I don't know,
Dr.
like
Gales is kind of great.
I. I'm glad that you're more on my side of the fence here because I really love the dentist, and I think you were more iffy on that one. Um,
I feel like this one's sense of humor played in a way I had an easier time getting it on. So I think it's really what it comes down to.
no, I hear that. I hear that.
And I think Larry Drake did that for me. I think he's really letting me into where this movie's sense of humor is.
Got it. No, I think you're right, and the movies do have a lot of similar components, and it just depends on the balance of it too, I guess. But just like the dentist had those scenes that were like, ooh, this is a little more gnarly and intense than it
Hmm.
needed to be. This has a few of those, and
It
they play
does.
very well.
It has one in particular that I touched on in my letterbox post, but I certainly want to talk about you as well, talk about with you
Uh huh.
directly. So the whole movie, it's funny, it's fun, it's puns, it's one-liners,
Uh huh.
just kind of a good time. And then along comes this scene in a morgue where we learn the ultimate truth about Dr. Giggles. Where did he start giggling? How did he escape the crowd?
Uh huh.
And it's such a deeply unsettling and upsetting image that I think it kind of then turns the movie into something like gross and twisted, even though it never gets back into that mode. I'm ready for it to get back in that mode. So I no longer trust that it's just like a funny comedy. It's now a funny comedy that like put a razor blade in the apple, so to speak.
Yeah. I mean, let's just say what the scene is.
Sure.
It is the flashback to the policeman witnessing Dr. Giggles as a child emerging from the dead body of his mother, which is how he has been snuck out of the
Yes.
house.
Yes.
It,
Father Dr. Giggles hid his son in the hollowed out cavity of the dead wife.
yeah, and we see him with a scalpel. Like it's this grotesque, bloody, like birthing
Mhm.
scene of him coming out of this woman's corpse, and it is really macabre. That's where we're getting really Tales from the Crypt, really like EC Comics boost, like even more
Mhm.
intense than that. Um, but I think there are some scenes that I feel gnarly in a way that that scene promises. Like I think the stomach pump scene gets there. I think there's a scene that could be quite silly, and I think actually the silly elements help boost the fact that it's so strange. The scene where he wraps a blood pressure cuff around a guy's neck and is squeezing the little
Mhm.
bulb, and it's a little squeaky and it's a little silly, but the effect it's having on his neck and his face,
Superb makeup work that really, you don't think of what that sort of death would look like, and then the movie's like, it would probably look like this. It's
yeah,
like,
like
okay.
they're really applying. They're not just having him stab people with a scalpel. Like they're
Mhm.
really finding fun ways to use these things that are gross. And there is a scene where I think, yeah, he gets shot and he does surgery on himself where he removes the
Hmm.
bullet and sews up the
Hmm.
wound. And that scene is maybe less like straight up gore, gnarly, gross, but it is very disorienting and very good horror scene where it is the pain of someone having to do that to themselves, but it's also framed in this way where there's like the mirror above him kind of makes it look like he is his own surgeon looking
Hmm.
down on him,
Hmm.
and it's all very disorienting. And then once you realize what's happening, it's already it's still gross and eerie. I don't know. That worked on me too a lot.
No, that worked on me as well. And I do think totally different level than any of the other ones we're talking about, but there is a kill late in the movie. It does kind of bring in a little bit of Dead Ringers, where he has invented his own bizarre doctor tools that are all like
Mm-hmm.
various kinds of weapons of death. And there's one that I was like watching him hold it, and it's like, I don't know how that works. And then he like uses it on a guy, and I
Oh,
was
uh huh.
like it. So again, the movie played me. And there's a great gag where he like shoots the guy in the face with basically this like air hammer with nails attached essentially,
Oh
and it
yeah,
pulls it back and the guy's glasses are stuck on the nails.
that's really good.
And I thought that was just such a wonderful little grace note. And it's again, it's not upsetting creepy gross, but it was like the right kind of squicky gross to me.
Yeah, and it is both funny and I mean scary is not the right word, but it's
It's
funny
not
and
scary.
it's macabre.
Yeah.
And sometimes those things, I mean, very frequently those things are playing well into each other simultaneously.
Absolutely. And Kato, as we've identified, worked on Tales from the Crypt. He name dropped Tales from the Crypt at the time as like the thing he was trying to do here. And I think he gets there, both the series and, as you point out, the original comics run. That mixture of like, this is so silly that you're not taking it seriously, but it's so visceral that you have to take it seriously. And
Yeah.
that's a great blend, and I think the movie really nails it.
Yeah, it's a tonal tightrope you really have to walk. I will say, bringing up that kind of third act sequence with the machines and stuff, I think this movie's third act is way too long and
Yes, it is.
a little bit too run of the mill
Mhm.
for how much fun I was having for the first two acts. It is kind of a split third act. It's one of those ones where it's like you think the guy's dead and then he comes back and blah blah blah. But then I thought we were gonna get one last kind of sting, but we got a whole second sequence,
Hmm.
which I think the dentist also does, because they have that like opera scene at the end of the
That's true,
dentist.
they do.
Um, and I was a little bored by the end.
No, I had exactly the same response, probably to exactly the same scene break that you did, where it feels like we're obviously going to get this thing. Like we know that Dr.
Yeah,
Giggles isn't dead because it's a horror movie. We understand how horror movies work. But he makes two different trips to the hospital where Jennifer is at,
yeah,
basically. And he then so he goes to the hospital, he takes her back, he does spooky, scary shit. She gets rescued, she goes back to the hospital, he goes to the hospital again to attack her. And it's just it feels like there's too much clutter there. Like
yeah,
he should only go to the hospital one time. They should kick into the hospital. I think that the scene at the hospital that they have works. It's that he goes to the hospital and there's a bunch of shit, then he goes back to the hospital. It's that bunch of shit,
yeah.
I think, is where the movie really just completely grinds to a halt.
Yeah, and that is a bummer. I do think that this movie's worst instincts are just being a little over elaborate in its
Yeah,
storytelling. They're
yeah.
they're they're hitting the hammer a little too hard a couple times.
Because I would also say, and we kind of glossed over it, the way that the flashbacks are structured does feel unnecessarily complicated. And I
Oh,
get it's that they want to save the born out of his dead mother's corpse scene.
yeah.
Like you want that to come at a very pokeable moment in the film, not like in your first 2 minutes. But I think the payoff is good, but what they have to set up to get to the payoff does feel cumbersome to
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And the more or less consistent vibe of it is good enough that it kind of helps paper
me.
over some of its flaws.
Yeah.
But, it does have flaws. We should probably spend a little time being like, this is not a perfect movie. There,
Yep.
it's really not. Um, I will say one thing that I pointed out in my letterbox review is that there is a scene uh, that takes place at night where a woman is letting in her dog and sunlight is streaming in through a door. Um, and that is such a beginner mistake.
Mhm.
And so that's there are things where you're just like, okay, this is more of what I expected from a shitty early 90s slasher. And Larry Drake is great. Not all of the acting is great.
I would say only Larry Drake is great, potentially. You might push back a little bit, but I feel like the dad's okay. Jennifer is certainly the best of the teens, and you would want her to
Uh-huh.
be the best of the teens. But I found even Jennifer, she sort of latches on to I'm sullen because my heart's bad, and I'm not going to have any other personality trait whatsoever. And it's like
Yeah.
that's not an unrealistic way to approach this if we're doing like what is the stakes for your character throughout this movie, but it's not fun to watch because
No.
she's kind of just pouting the whole time. It's like I get it, like your heart is bad, but like I would like for you to be an entertaining companion during this motion picture.
Yes. Yeah. So that's a bit of a bummer, especially because like that first scene with the teens is so snappy that you
It's
think,
so on point, very lively, ends with that great Twin Peaks joke,
mm-hmm.
and it never gets back there. It never has that sort of naturalistic teen writing again.
No, not at all. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I guess Cliff DeYoung is fine. I have a fondness for Cliff DeYoung. I love Shock
Mhm.
Treatment. I don't love Shock Treatment because Cliff DeYoung is in it.
Mhm.
He's kind of like if Wings Hauser took Xanax. Um,
Yeah,
he's just not. He looks like Wings Hauser, but he's just not ever being weird.
sure.
um, and yeah, so his acting was fine. Um, not all the adult acting is even great. I think Nancy Fish as the neighbor, Miss Henderson, the one in the aforementioned letting in her dog in the
Yes,
daylight nighttime, she is calibrated exactly wrong. I think.
I would agree.
I think she's trying to be like kind of a weird caricature, like maybe even like a John Waters kind of like suburban neighbor character, and it
Yep.
just never lands. It's very
It,
peculiar.
we've been talking Nightmare on Elm Street, and I just rewatched the whole series this past October.
Mm-hmm.
And what she reminded me of was the like eccentrics populating the nightmare version of
Oh,
Springfield or Spring, whatever it's called, in
uh huh.
Freddy's Dead.
Yeah, yeah. It's that same kind of like grit teeth, grinning, kind of shrieky and loud. Just it's just so wrong. It's just not
Hmm.
because they were
It's
trying to do Twin Peaks, which I guess maybe is what they were trying to do here too.
yeah, no, it's like it's a cartoon in a movie that sort of requires that Dr. Giggles be the only cartoon, and he's also a different kind of cartoon anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, the acting is not great, and also it does the thing where it's like, what, the black characters are being killed first, but the
Yeah,
trope exists because history
yeah.
keeps doing that. Although they do
Uh,
have a black hero cop, so they
the
kind of
black hero, I was just going to say the black hero cop, who's an actor who doesn't even have a Wikipedia page named Keith Diamond. I did like him about as much as I liked any non-Dr. Giggles adult.
yeah, and he's almost he's certainly a deuteragonist of the movie. He's
Yeah,
not because Jennifer's obviously the protagonist, but we spend a lot more time with him than the first third of the movie would imply that we would.
he that's true, and I think he is the more important of the two cops for sure, because the
Yeah.
grizzled old cop is just a source of knowledge. Young black hero cop is the one who's actually like actively involved in the plot.
Yeah, and he's the one who's like noticing the signs and putting things together.
Mhm.
Um yeah. Um anyway. Oh, sorry. Did you have something to say?
Well, I was going to say, since we were and kind of drifted away, but we were talking about our flaws with the movie. I
Mhm.
don't know if this is me being just unnecessarily persnickety. I'd like to get your feelings about this.
Okay.
Very high body count in this movie. I wonder if I would have preferred if there'd been maybe a slightly smaller list of dead people with more care given to each death.
Huh.
It feels like it's going for quantity over quality sometimes.
I think that's possible, but so many of the showpiece deaths are quality, and
The
there's
showpiece deaths are all good.
and like there are like I okay, I think there are some where it is like, okay, he's stabbing someone with a sharpened version of something or a scalpel or whatever.
Mhm.
I will say one thing I forgot to mention was there is one where he kind of shoves like one of those nose lights that they use to
Mhm.
check your nostrils, like into someone. That one's really good.
Yes, it is.
There is an incredibly dumb. He smothers someone with a giant band-aid gag
Mhm.
that doesn't work, but it's at least inventive. Um,
I guess
I
I can see that that is a kind of defense of that death. That was probably the moment that I was thinking of when I was like, there's just a lot more depth than this movie has ideas for.
Yeah, I think maybe you're right. I don't think that we are lacking in the care on the good deaths. I don't think that taking away the other deaths would have
Mhm.
made those ones better. But you're right. There are more bland ones than there need to be.
Right. Like when you mentioned, the two black kids dying first, that's such a bizarrely staged death. The first
Yeah,
the first black guy.
the guy getting like a hypodermic injected like through
Yeah,
a
and
keyhole.
it's like it's a good grody, like they put some foamy red pills in his mouth and he just kind of like drools foamy red. That's good. I like that.
Uh
But
huh.
like it's very strangely cut together. I had a really hard time figuring out what was supposed to be going on until it was, and I get that's the point of it. It's meant to be like, shocking,
Uh huh.
but it shouldn't be incoherent.
Yeah. Honestly, some of the worst things in the movie are in that scene. Like, I think that maybe that's the first scene they shot, and he was kind of getting
Mm,
his sea legs, Manny Koto. Because there is a line that the girlfriend of that couple who are locked in a room says that I think must have been like it must have been her forgetting the line and just trying to commit and barrel through.
mhm.
But it's this bizarre thing where she says, "Get me out of here! Just get me out of here! Just get me out of here." Like it kind of changes on the last one, but it just seems like she's forgetting what she's supposed to say and keeps returning to the beginning of the line.
Now that you're reminding me of it, I did notice that moment. Yeah.
It's just if they were trying to have more of a like this is a performance showcase moment of her saying the same line three different ways, it doesn't read like that.
Right.
Um it's just they needed to get another take of that line.
Mhm.
Everything's kind of weird in that scene altogether.
Yeah. No, it is. It is.
But yeah, I don't necessarily agree about the body count. I mean, they wanted a high body count. It's a 90s slasher.
That's true.
I
That's
get
true.
throwing in a couple extras just for funsies. Maybe we would have gotten more time with the characters if they'd cut a couple of the bland deaths
I think
but
maybe that's my complaint because, like, again, not that Dr. Giggles is or can be a psychologically complex character. It feels like there's a long stretch of the movie where all Larry Drake is doing is killing somebody and saying a quip, and it's
yes.
it's like it does become repetitive to me.
Yes. Okay, I do agree with that. Um and that is again one of the movie's bigger weaknesses. is its tendency toward doing that.
Yeah.
It's not something it was ever really going to avoid, I suppose.
No, I mean, again, we are talking about a 1992 slasher movie called Dr. Giggles behaving like a 1992 slasher movie ought.
Yeah, which is also like fine, but just the fact that it had elevated itself so far
This
above.
movie is so capable of punching above its weight that when it's not punching above its weight, I'm mad at it,
Yeah.
basically.
Um, and we do have a couple other fun scenes with the teens. There is one weird one where a girl flirting with Max is filleting a saxophone in front of him.
I think that might have even been the scene where I was like, I am fully invested in this movie's sense of humor.
Yeah. It's all very silly. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. It's a little of that. I don't know that the movie would have been better with the fewer kills, but it just kind of is what it is, and we have to
That is what it
kind
is.
of take
Yeah,
it. And what it is very nice. Certainly for a slasher fan who knows what to expect from this era, big surprise, really pleasant. I don't know if I have
absolutely.
more to say about it.
No,
But
I
yeah,
mean, I don't know that I do either. Like, I expected potentially a one-star experience out of this movie. I really thought that. I mean, again, in my head, when I was going through Blockbuster back in the 90s, this was an Uncle Sam type movie, right? It's like
yeah,
the poster is promising this really tawdry experience. The tagline is trying so hard in a way that just immediately just telegraphs this is trash.
yeah.
And instead it telegraphs, no, this is, a Tales from the Crypt episode. Because you can imagine the Crypt Keeper saying that, right?
Oh, of course, the doctor is in. Say,
Exactly.
but yeah, no, it just does that thing really well. And honestly, I'm really glad that we did this theme. I thought this theme was going to be kind of like us being punished for 3 months.
Hmm.
Um, but in addition to getting 3 movies that I own off of my to watch stack, um, I really liked 2 of the 3. I didn't love Popcorn. But I feel like all of them
Which
were
which is
worth watching.
astonishing to me because Popcorn was the one prior to settling on this I thought was going to be the best.
Yes, me too. Um, but I really enjoyed watching all 3 of these movies. Like I think maybe this is not enough for us to say that early '90s horror is underrated, but I think that maybe you would be incorrect to paint all of movies from this period with the same brush.
Hmm. No, I think my big takeaway is, I've been banging that drum for a long time. 90s horror had no highlights, and maybe it's just that it hit its lights better than perhaps it should have. But no,
Yeah,
this
it
this
has
was
plenty of lowlights.
it has plenty of lowlights, but like certainly this and The Dentist are much better than the average late 80s slasher film. Like something from
Yeah,
87, 88, 89. Dr. Giggles would have been the best slasher film of 1989. Maybe not the best, but it would have been way that up there.
probably in the top 5, and certainly okay. I am in my project where I'm watching every slasher movie from the 1980s. I am nearing the end of 1985, and I'm preparing to write my top 5 slashers of 1985. And my current number 5 is a movie that I rated 5 out of 10. Um,
Hmm.
so Doctor Giggles could easily be the best horror movie of several years of the 80s. Yeah, 85 is fucking brutal. Like, I might include The Hills Have Eyes Part 2 in my top 5 of 1985.
Oh, that is brutal.
Yeah.
That
Anyway,
is brutal.
do we have anything else to say about Dr. Giggles before we fully?
I think we just have to go see it. This
Yeah.
movie, I want to do the good work that no one did for me, which is to assure people it isn't the movie it looks like. It isn't the movie it's selling itself as. It is a pretty fun, dark comedy with a really good, like, stupid joke game.
Yeah, I completely agree. Total blast. Imperfect movie, but it was never going to be perfect. It's almost the best version of itself that it could possibly be.
Honestly, like anything I can come up with as a nitpick is just a nitpick.
Yeah. But yeah, Dr. Giggles. Great time. Go watch Dr. Giggles. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. Next week you're gonna hear me again. We're gonna do the December preview with some guests that you'll be familiar with. You can find more episodes of this show and others on alternateending.com. Join our Patreon if you want to vote in the polls for what we do on this this specific podcast, we do Bride of Alternate Ending polls at least once every 3 months. You get other bonuses there as well. And I don't know. Yeah. Bye-bye. Ooh, that was good.
Thank you.